Hello and welcome to another episode of Better You Life Coaching. I'm your host Dre, and don't forget to hit that like button, the bell, comment, share, and subscribe. So, this is one that is kind of near and dear to me. I'm a person that's very much into finances and into personal improvement and growing wealth. So one thing that really inspired this one today was, as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I recently got a new job. And with that new job came a substantial increase. And so often, just from my friend circle alone, there's been many of us who have gotten like nice raises or promotions at a job, and it seems like boom, like we set, we good, got that 25-30% extra that we was wishing we had. And 6-7 months later, it's like, dang, I don't make enough anymore. And it's kind of like a cycle, if you will. So these are just a few tips of things you can do to essentially craft a plan for that money so that you don't blow that money. Because when we get extra money, a lot of times what gets us is we don't account for a lot of purchases, especially smaller dollar purchases. So tip number one, realize what you're spending. And what I mean by that is whether it is using some type of tracker app, the ledger for your bank account or credit card, or whatever it may be, make sure you're keeping track of your spending. And one of the things I tried for a little while that might help a lot of folks is making a daily budget. I had X amount of dollars set aside as quote unquote disposable play money that I didn't mind blowing or doing whatever, or just doing something stupid with. And one of the things that I ended up doing with that was I would make myself a daily budget, and I had X amount of money to spend every day till the next payday out of that. So if I didn't spend, just for simplicity's sake, like, hey, if that daily budget is $50 a day, so if Monday through Friday I didn't spend anything, then that means Friday I got $250 to play around with, and so on and so forth. But basically it broke down to a particular amount. Another thing that I know some folks have done, I didn't quite like it as much because it caused me certain issues with keeping up with stuff, but having separate accounts is another way to organize your money and kind of do a version of what I'm talking about, where you have your bills and your serious stuff going to one account, and then you have everything else going to another. So, next tip: speak with somebody who understands taxes. There are a number of financial vehicles that are available to us that can actually help benefit us in the long term, as well as take a little bit of that tax burden off of us now. So, for instance, your 401k at your job. It's a great way to contribute to an account, get a little bit of money stashed away for retirement, and it lowers your taxable income for every dollar that you put in. So if you normally make $100K, for instance, and you put $10K into your 401k, instead of being taxed as you would making your full $100K, you're only taxed if you made $90. Another financial instrument that's available right off the top of my head, HSA. Take full advantage of that, especially if you're in the position where you are going to have substantial medical costs. With the HSA, the health FSA, and even the dependent care FSA do, is essentially they allow you to spend money that you were going to spend anyway, but by putting it into this particular account, it's tax-free and thus lowers your tax burden. So there are little ways that you can, I guess you would say, for lack of a better term, you can play the shell game with some of your money by moving it around and lower some of your taxable burden so that you actually get to keep a little bit more of your money. If you have not done so already, and maybe this probably should be number one, but number 3 is make a budget. When you fail to make a plan for your money's going to find every way it can to get out of your pocket. Making a budget is something that I feel like a lot of folks find to be a little bit intimidating, but it's really, really simple. I have a personal template that I use for my budget. It's an Excel spreadsheet. It has a couple of tabs. And I know that might sound a little intimidating off rip, but really all my tabs is I have my income. At the time when I was hourly, I had what I worked for my hours so that I could punch in my hours. I had a few formulas already set up. I knew what I would be having left over in terms of my net pay. And from there, I had my essential bills worked out. So rent, water, light, car insurance, so on and so forth. Everything that was not revolving or installment debt. My next tab was revolving debt, aka credit cards and credit lines. So this helped me to kind of keep track of where my utilization rates were, because if you pay attention to your utilization and you make sure that your ratios are in line, it'll help you to best spend and utilize those credit cards with the least negative impact to your credit score. General rule of thumb is you want to keep your utilization on an individual card below 30% and 30% overall. You don't want rolling over month to month. So because I really don't need this tab anymore, because I only have like a couple of cards now. But at the time, I had to play the credit game a little bit. So I had to get a bunch of low limit credit cards in order to boost my credit score up, show that I'm credit worthy to get higher limit credit cards. Which once I got those higher limit cards, and after a while, when I was consistently getting those offers, I went to then start canceling out a lot of those lower limit cards, because it's no purpose. When you got a $10,000 limit card sitting in your wallet, why are you going to be carrying around a $300 or a $500 card limit? I mean, even with that, if there's no fees or anything like that, like no annual fee, no anything, I mean, it's really not any harm in letting it ride. But for me, I just found it better and more efficient to just cancel those things out. So next thing would be, after keeping a track of your spending, getting advice from a tax advisor, budgeting. The next thing I would advise somebody to do would be to examine all the money, this kind of ties into number one. But after you've examined all the money that you're spending, find places where you can cut. And this will basically free up funds that you may not even know were captured. One thing that happened a lot for me at a particular time was I had a ton of TV subscriptions that I wasn't even using. And I had them for my son, and my son wasn't even using them. And it was just, they're hitting me for 10, 15, in the case of Netflix, like $20-something a month. And individually, it doesn't sound like a lot at all. But when you factor in that you're not using some of these things, it becomes one of those where if you got 5 or 6 subscriptions and the average cost is $15 a piece, it's not even saying that you're getting rid of all of them, but if you find that, hey, I got 6 subscriptions, but I'm really only using 2, like, boom, you just saved yourself $60 a month. Like, that's $720 a year. That's extra cash in your pocket. And I mean, I'm speaking purely in terms of TV entertainment, but it applies to a lot of things. Maybe you have some type of subscription set up for like some type of a mystery box or something like that's going and you don't even realize it. Or sometimes some stores, I know I got set up one time with the e-magazine subscription, which I wasn't even thinking about it until I went through my bank account statement one day and saw I'm getting beat over the head with like these 5 subscriptions from magazines that I never even had the gumption to think about. And but just to kind of wrap it up, if you take those tips of accounting for all of your spending, finding ways that you can cut back on any unnecessary spending, consulting with a tax advisor, and crafting yourself a monthly budget and a way to track and make sure that you're staying on target, I think that you'll be in a great place in order to manage the increase that you've had quite well. And even if you haven't had a substantial increase in your employment or in your income, I think taking a lot of these steps would help to get your finances under control if it's something that you're struggling with. So that being said, thank y'all so much for listening to me for a little bit. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Share some of your money tips down below in the comments. And peace. Hope you guys enjoy your Sunday.